All right, let's go.
I look good though, right?
This guy looks good?
No big Stu. Had one of our manufacturers literally die on it, and then babysitting me.
I mean, he says I try to sneak in his DMs and stuff like that and hit on him.
More nootropic based, something like that.
Hint, guys, I'm not gonna fight anybody, especially him. All right, guys, Big Stu here. We got the two owners of Alpha Supps, Alex Sims, and then obviously the Big Stu. Now, today we are going to do an in-depth interview of Alex Sims. You guys have seen plenty of my shenanigans on YouTube or Instagram, but we wanted to get an in-depth interview with our CEO, Alex Sims. So first off, we wanted to start with the name, Alpha Supps. How did we come up with the name Alpha Supps, and what does that mean to you as the owner of the company?
So it took us a while to come up with the name, pitched a bunch of ideas back and forth, but we came kind of to a group agreement with Alpha Supps because of what it means to be alpha. So what we kind of stand for as a brand, what we kind of want to instill in people is becoming the best version of yourself, like being that alpha in your lifestyle, whatever that may be, because we are a brand that's not just catered to one category. We're not catering to just bodybuilders or just CrossFit athletes or anything like that. Like, we cater to everybody. So whatever it is that you do in your life, stay-at-home mom, if you are a bodybuilder, great, everything like that. We want you to be the best version of yourself and just be that alpha.
Awesome, awesome. Now, fitness, our industry, how did you get started? Were you into this early on? How long have you been in the industry? Give us a little rundown of how you got started into like the fitness industry before starting Alpha Supps.
Yeah. So I played sports my whole life, so I was always into fitness, like obviously travel ball, everything like that. I've been in the industry for about 20 years now. Randomly one day walked into a store, a supplement store. My buddy was a manager. I just always wanted to work in supplements. I always thought it would be cool. I asked him for a job. He hired me on the spot, and kind of the rest is history. Just kind of learned and grew from there. Just kept going. I mean, I jumped company to company for a while. Actually went out to California, ran a couple stores out there. Came back and then started my own
Just
thing.
wanted to do your own thing, man.
Yep.
You didn't want to, I know you own stores, but like the brand side, is that something that you always thought for on that, like early on? Is that something you wanted to get into, or is it just one day you're like, man, I just want to start my own brand? Or
Yeah, I mean, it really, at the beginning, it never really crossed my mind of doing it or something that I could do.
Yeah.
It was always just bringing in different products from different vendors,
stores.
everything like that. And it just eventually got to the point to where it was like, I liked the product. I liked learning about ingredients, different stuff so much. So it kind of was a perfect storm. I like certain stuff, so I was able to kind of put different ingredients together, and it just...
You wanted to make your own stuff for you, or own stuff that you saw your customers enjoying.
For me, but
like
yeah, customers would ask for certain stuff. They would like this ingredient, but they didn't like this ingredient or that. And so I was able to kind of pick and choose different stuff to cater to the customers I was helping on a daily basis.
Awesome.
So
yeah, definitely that retail feedback gives a lot, and we reach out to our retailers. I mean, one of our newest products is they helped us, obviously, knowing that there was a need in the market for something like that. But on the early days, I hear this a lot. What was some of the biggest hurdles, or maybe a major hurdle that you guys had starting the brand, specifically for yourself, that, you know, shows other people, like entrepreneurs, that it's not just them that go through some of these ups and downs. I know that we've had a lot of crazy ones, but what would you say is one of your biggest hurdles that we've had, you know, from the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot. I mean, every day's a new challenge. Nothing's ever perfect. Probably one of the biggest ones we've really never talked about or said anything about early on. Had one of our manufacturers literally die on us. We had POs in for pre-workout, creatine, thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And never got that product.
Yep.
Never got that money back.
Nope.
So it's just,
And we had to pay a lawyer to find out they had liens on their business already. So
yeah, it's
we were
just,
last in line to get paid.
so that's just kind of some of the back end stuff that people don't see, and they think it's all bells and whistles and all fun, oh, that they own their own supplement company. But there is a lot of stuff on the back end that people don't see.
Yeah.
That are the constant grind that goes behind the scenes.
Talking about what people don't see, one of our elite athletes was asking about a product that was out of stock and saying, hey, man, that thing's been out of stock for about 3 or 4 weeks. And going back and forth, he actually thought that we could place an order with our manufacturer and get it within like a week. Like, and that just doesn't work. Like, that's nowhere close. Now, I explained it to him. He's a really good friend of mine. I explained it to him. But the next part is I wanted to talk about from A to Z, starting a new product. How long, the lights is, one of our new products that we just launched on Monday. How long does that process take? What goes into that process? Give us a rundown of all the things, behind the scenes look at all the things that go into it for someone to receive that end product. What happened Monday for us, that launch into a new category. Give them an insight of all the stuff that we have to go through.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, when you're coming up with a new product, want to launch a new product, the entire process probably takes anywhere from 6 to 8 months, I would say. Kind of have that little cushion there. You have to start out with like market research. You're reaching out to retailers, you're reaching out to customers, trying to find a need for a product in the market. Then once you find that need, you have to start putting the ingredients together. What ingredients do you want? How much of each ingredient are you going to do? You have to go back and forth with the manufacturer, get cost per ingredient, cost of the product, because you can't just put a whole bunch of ingredients in and then the product's just way overpriced. That doesn't make sense. So there's a lot of back and forth like that. Once you have the formula, I mean, you're talking at least a month of back and forth there during that process.
Yeah.
Then you have to come up with flavors. For instance, like the Alpha Lights that just launched, we launched 3 flavors. However, we had to start with more. So we started with 6 or 7 flavors that we asked the manufacturer for, because we have to make sure that the flavors go good with the formula, everything like that. So then we have to get flavor samples in, try those. If they're not up to par, you have to tweak it back and forth. Hey, add a little bit more of this, take a little bit. That's another probably month process. So right there, you're already at 2 months. And then once you finally say, hey, these are the flavors we want to do, you put the PO in. Lead times in the industry right now are, on a good note, 10 to 12 weeks. So
not always.
You're at about another 3 months there. So you're at 5-6 months with no hiccups, no delays.
Yeah.
And which in this industry, there's always a delay.
There's always delays, guys. Guys and girls, there's always delays. We had a formula created. We had a formula flavored. And then the formula that we were received for our label was completely different. It didn't have enough sodium. And so we had to start the flavor process completely over again. So these are the little things. And again, it's not to say one manufacturer is bad. It's just there are always little issues that happen. Even right at the end, we go through testing of the product at the end to make sure obviously it tests out. But then there's a flavor test that we have to taste so that it matches that day one flavor that we wanted. Because of all those time and possibility of variances, things can change. And we've had it happen where they're ready to blend. They have all the same formulation that we've kind of agreed upon, and it changes. So it's definitely something that is a longer process than you guys think. And then like reorders and stuff like that, we're in that same ballpark.
Yeah, you're when you need to just reorder a product and not go through all the testing, everything like that, flavor, you're still at 10 to 12 weeks. So if we run out of a product, hopefully we have the PO in early enough that we're not out for a long time. But
if sales spike,
yeah, if something happens where sales go up like crazy, that's how long. We can't make the manufacturer go any faster. I mean, we can try to pull some strings here and there, but at the end of the day, they have their lead times too. They have to get in the raw materials. They have to get in the plastic, scoops. So there's stuff that they have to get in as well, to be able to make and formulate the product for us.
Absolutely. All right. Well, kind of switching to a different topic is about more like fitness based. As you guys have all seen a lot of my social media content, Alex is a lot more behind the scenes. But just as how the brand is, I'm more the bodybuilder. Alex is more the athlete. We kind of cater to all different kind of genres. Talk to us about what your day to day, from a fitness standpoint, as well as what you do for work and all that stuff. What goes into, what we would consider ourselves as super dads. Being fit, but fit in the things that you enjoy. That's one thing that I always try to preach to people is I love the bodybuilding side of that thing. But this brand does not just mean being a big meathead. It's for everybody for whatever their fitness goals are. And Alex obviously has a completely different mindset towards what he likes, but obviously takes it to that next level. So if you want to talk a little bit more about what you do on a daily basis and all the things that you're involved in from a fitness and maybe family standpoint.
Yeah. So my days are pretty much the same every day as long as I'm not injured, nursing an injury or anything like that. I wake up 5:15. I go to jiu-jitsu in the morning class, do the jiu-jitsu class, then go to the gym directly after. So
every day you go from jiu-jitsu for an hour to the gym. Is that 5 days a week or 6 days a week?
Usually 5 days a week. If I go every day jiu-jitsu,
we're talking super dads right here. This
sometimes I don't go every single day to jiu-jitsu. Usually there's a day I'll take off during the week just to kind of give my body a rest. But as far as the gym, every day, Monday through actually Saturday, because I go on Saturdays as well.
Okay.
So 6 days a week in the gym. And then after the gym, go home, get ready, come to the office, get all the work done. Usually here till at least 5, leave, and then starts with my kids. So I have 2 boys. They both do jiu-jitsu. They have class from 6 to 7. They're both in basketball. Their season's just ended, but I coach both of their teams. So usually my day doesn't end until, best case scenario, 8, 9 o'clock. And then there's days like today, I play in a men's basketball league too.
You can't shoot. I can beat him.
So there's days where there's games at 10 p.m. at night. So there's some nights where I'm not getting home till 11:30 at night. I wake up and do it all again.
So that's not one thing that I preach a lot, guys. I just want you to understand that, I say it a lot of times about not making excuses, to be successful here, to be successful for yourself, successful as a family man, successful in business. Basically the formula is consistency.
Yep.
Like you just said, every day, the day is the same. You guys have heard it a bunch of times with myself. It's like I eat the same foods. I do my cardio at night. I do my training. But a guy right here, to be a successful and enjoy all this side of the fitness side for him, he does his jiu-jitsu. He does his training. He obviously is there with his kids at night and then has his time to obviously do the things that he enjoys. So being the best version of himself is also, in some regards, being a little bit selfish in the fact that you have to have time for yourself. So for all the dads and moms out there, understand, for you to be the best mom you can be, you got to have that time for yourself. So find the time in the morning or find the time in the evening to get those workouts in, stay healthy, eat healthy. Hey guys, you're watching the Alpha Supps YouTube channel. And if you guys want to go to alphasuppsusa.com, you can get any of our supplements. Use the code ALPHAYT20 for 20% off. So next question, what supplements do you utilize within the brand? Now on an everyday basis, obviously being the owners of the brand, we've tried it all. Mm-hmm. But as I tell with myself, like there's certain things that are the daily things that we do, okay? We don't have well, maybe you do. I can't really see it on that side, but maybe Stim Junkies up there. That's a product, the high stim pre-workout, I'm just not a fan of because I don't like high stim pre-workouts. Yep. For yourself, What are the mainstays for your supplement? Obviously, your nutrition's in place, but what would you say that you use on a regular basis for supplementation?
Yeah, so I'm a big pre-workout pump guy. However, when I do jujitsu in the morning, I don't like to do pre-workout before because it's really cardio based. So your heart rate's already up. You get pretty wired right away. So before I go there, I'll usually do like a shot of L-carnitine and then some Hydro 9. So I'll fill up the Hydro 9 in the shaker cup. Now I'll probably eventually switch to the lights because you are sweating a lot in jiu-jitsu. Basically to just get the hydration while you're training. And then right after that, usually I'm doing a scoop of pumping because after I'm already wired, I kind of learned my lesson. I did a scoop of pre-workout after the first time I went to jiu-jitsu, and it really made my stomach upset because I was just already so ready to go.
You're ready to rock and roll.
So now I just do the pumping, the non-stim. I love that. It just gives me a great pump in the gym, blood flow. So take that, get home from the gym, usually doing my protein, and then just my essentials. So I take the shred every single day, Defender, just your normal healthy products to take daily, greens. That's pretty much my staple. On weekends when or on the days I don't do jujitsu, I'm always throwing in a pre-workout. I'll go back and forth between the one and the rowdy because I'm the same way. I don't need 400, 500 milligrams of caffeine to get me going.
No, I understand.
So that's pretty much the gist of it. I mean, I take more than the average person, but I don't go
We also
over the
do
top.
more than the average person. And that's something that I've always said. When you first start, one of the things that I've always preached, and I know you do the same, especially specifically with your retailers, is in your retail stores, is get those foundational SKUs going.
Yep.
Make sure your nutrition's in place. Make sure your cardio, you're doing your training, and then, grab yourself a protein. Make sure you have your shred in there. Make sure you have your greens, your creatine. And then as you become more dedicated, as you've stated right here, every day you're doing all that kind of training. If you're going to do jiu-jitsu and going to do, a workout, and then you're going to also then train later in the evening with your basketball, you're obviously going to have to do more than your normal person. But as a whole, you are doing on a regular basis more. So one thing too that we got a question with is roles in the company. You're the CEO. Sometimes those titles and stuff like that, you don't really know what all that means. We're a small company. I know a lot of us do a lot of different things, but breaking up the roles in the company, what would you say that your focus is with the brand? Like your main focus on a day-to-day basis, if you were to say where you stick most of your focus in the brand for the growth.
Oh man, so I do a lot of the back end stuff, the not so fun and exciting stuff. But as far as all the financing stuff, back and forth with the manufacturer, as far as getting products, making sure POs are in for inventory. I still do sales. I still talk to a lot of retailers. Since I've been in the industry so long, I do have a lot of buddies in the industry as well that own stores. So I have good relationships with them. So I'm still very involved in that side as well. But a lot of the back end stuff that aren't the glamour stuff.
Making sure we have money in the bank to fill this warehouse, and more money's coming in than we're putting out. So
yeah, and I mean, like lately, dealing a lot with like paperwork, international documents. Been really working on that. That's something new that I'm learning. Working back and forth with manufacturers, how to get all that stuff. Going back and forth with testing companies. You name it. It's just a lot of little things that add up. That has to be done, and then babysit Neil. So.
And yes, I need to be babysat sometimes, but I think we do have a good dynamic with it. Obviously, I think I would always say from a standpoint of yours is more financing side, and mine is like sales and marketing. But both of us are very involved in the other side of the business. I kind of don't try not to step on your toes when it comes to some of the things that, when it comes to finance, I kind of like ask you, hey, can we afford this? Can we do this? When we're looking at products, the end call is always your side on like inventory. When we're looking on the marketing side and the sales side, I'm trying to drive that side of the business. So we kind of stay in our own lanes, but we both stay involved. Like when we're creating products, I'm trying to give you as much information from the sales and marketing side, and then you're trying to give us the feedback from the finance side. And I think that it's good that we both stay in our own lanes, but then we're also savvy enough. Like you said, like you already work with retailers, so you're hearing some of the same things that I might be hearing. You might not do all the marketing. That's why we want you to, get yourself on film more, but you're still understand that side of the business. So it's not like you're just, I'm just going to sit in my closet and, count the beans if we have enough money or not.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next one, and this kind of like wrap up the interview, but where do you see the brand? Where would you like the brand to be in the next couple years? So people say like a 5-year plan, but in 5 years is such a long time. You know what I mean? Like we have had the company for 4 years. We've been out for 4 years, and from the beginning to where we're at right now it's been a huge craziness that has happened and growth. So let's narrow that into say like a couple years. In the next couple years, what would you like to see from alphasuppsusa so that you could call it like a success over the next couple years?
Yeah, I mean, so the biggest one, kind of what our whole goal is over the next 12, 24 months is just to really double down on marketing and becoming that household name. We obviously are a growing brand. We have a lot of SKUs. We're a retail first brand. We've grown with retail. A lot of our retailers have supported us tremendously over the years. Now we really want to become that household name that's driving people to these retailers, so that they're asking for our products. They know alphasuppsusa. That's the biggest thing. We've kind of doubled down on a lot of stuff as far as like growing our athlete team. Our athlete team has grown tremendously. We have numerous amount of IFBB pros now. We actually have an athlete who's going to be in Olympia this year, with 212. So our team is growing tremendously, and now we're even crossing over into the CrossFit endurance market. We're adding a lot of high-end athletes on that side as well. So that's probably the biggest thing. Obviously, we're going to keep innovating, trying to come out with new products, new SKUs that fit the market, but really just growing the alphasuppsusa name and becoming that brand that everybody wants to be associated with.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, becoming a household name is really the key. When you go into markets where we don't have, some of our premium retailers, see someone wearing a shirt or a shaker. I mean, it's pretty cool. Myself being in Miami, which is 1,500 miles away from our headquarters, and you're now starting to go into all the gyms there. And even my kids, I brought them to one of the gyms that we're actually doing a big athlete meetup August 9th, Durozone, Miami Lakes. They sat up on the table while I was going to go train, and they're like, "Daddy, your product's here." And I'm like, "Yeah, they carry our stuff now." And pretty much all the trainers in that gym are our athletes, and those are it's a big gym in Miami. It's a big bodybuilding gym in Miami. But, Alex brought up another point is with some new product innovations that were coming out, we're getting into that endurance market, that high rocks, Ironman, long distance athletes. So, it's definitely a cool thing to see our name everywhere. So now I got a text message. Tommy Two Stacks behind the camera had some additional fun questions to ask us. So how did we meet? You can ask this one. You can answer this one. How did me and Sims meet?
So basically, I was working at another retail store, started my career, and had this guy just calling me, begging me to pick up his products.
Protein cookies.
You were actually working for a protein cookie company. And at the time, like, I get calls all the time for, "Hey, pick up our product, new brand." There's just so many. And me being who I am, I was like, "Oh, yeah, send some samples." And I just basically milked Stu for samples for the longest time. I would have boxes of protein cookies under my desk, compliments of Stu. Finally, I eventually caved, and I brought them into the stores. But
yeah,
that's basically
sent him a bunch of care packages, and eventually he brought them in. And I was like, this guy, and then we got on the phone. We ended up building a relationship that way. I mean, he says I try to sneak in his DMs and stuff like that and hit on him, but that's no go.
And that's it. That is the true
That
story.
is not what happened.
You reached out to me. You said, "Hey, I really want to get into the fitness industry. Can you be my coach?"
Yeah,
And-
that is definitely horseshit. Actually, his wife talked about his calves as the first thing. Those things are
Monstrous.
just ridiculous. She actually said the first time I ever met her that she was like wowed by his calves. And I'm like, what is there to be wowed by? But I guess in Kansas, there is nothing to be
These are
wowed by.
athletic calves.
Athletic calves. Okay. What would be what would be like one dream product that you would want to release? Like, what is something in what space would you want to get into? Is there a SKU that we don't have in the line that you would want to come out with next, or you see yourself getting involved with? What would you say that product would be?
I mean, really, we've kind of hit a lot of different categories and a lot of the main categories. There really isn't for me like an off the wall product that we haven't already done. Could potentially be another pre-workout, since I am a pre-workout guy. We don't really have anything in the space as far as like low stem, more nootropic based.
Okay.
So something like that.
Hint, guys.
Because I like the lower stem around that 200 milligrams of caffeine. Nothing crazy, but enough to kind of get you going and stuff.
And
so,
like a nootropic feel to it. So
yeah,
like
more
a
focus, everything like that. Like I
Okay.
don't need the cracked out, jittery stuff.
Yeah.
So that could be something.
Yeah,
to look
that would
into.
fit in line to exactly how I am. I'm not a big stem guy as well. I think I'm not to say that the people that don't use high stem, but I think the more experienced lifters enjoy, enough stem to get them a nice kick in the ass in the gym, and then let the ingredients and your nutrition and just your drive to get you through the rest of the workout. For myself, I would say like an immediate thing that I would like to see in the brand, because it is something that I use on a daily basis, is a carb product. That's definitely something that I have already looked into. We've tried to talk some ideas over, and then obviously getting into the endurance market. It's a product that fits very well with the fitness bodybuilder, so myself, but also the endurance clientele that we're going towards. It's a big product in that space as well. So I would say that would be something that I would definitely be into. Who has bigger calves? I mean, come on. I do. It's just that just. The next one is again a question for me. How many shits does the Big Stew take in a day? I take 2 to 3 before I work out. So you can only imagine how many I take. I have 7 meals a day. I eat way too much food because I'm a meathead and I'm a bodybuilder. And last but not least, who would win in an MMA fight? This guy over here. Only because he has a long reach, and I couldn't get in too close, No, I would get torn apart.
These lethal calves will come at you.
Lethal calves. He's got the John Jones legs, the skinny little legs. No, I would get absolutely annihilated. Anybody knows bodybuilders cannot do anything functional. I have zero function other than lifting weights, and that's about it. So I'm not going to fight anybody, and especially him. But I appreciate you guys following us today, following the story of alphasuppsusa. Subscribe to our YouTube channel when you have a chance. Okay, guys? It's just alphasuppsusa on YouTube. You can follow our Instagrams. Alex is private, so you're going to have to get a request from him, and he's going to have to look to see if you're suspect. But Alex_T_Sims, I think it is, right? And then you guys all know me. But I'm the Big Stew, and that is a wrap.
Thanks, guys.